All right, so today we're gonna take a deep dive into something pretty unique.
Yeah,
We're talking about the Bittersweet token,
that's right.
BTSWT, and the whole movement behind it. And this is fascinating to me because they're really trying to, I guess you could say, disrupt the world of finance
Yeah,
with chocolate.
It's definitely an interesting concept.
So we've got some sources here from their YouTube channel and their website.
Okay.
And what's really cool about this is that it's not just another crypto explainer, you know?
Right.
These folks are aiming to make chocolate into money.
It's a bold goal.
Yeah, so let's jump right in. First of all, can you maybe explain what a virtual commodity currency is?
Sure. Yeah. So, it sounds futuristic, but it's actually rooted in history. Like the gold standard.
Oh, yeah.
That was a commodity-backed currency where the value was tied to a physical commodity, gold in that case.
Okay.
Bittersweet's idea is similar,
Okay.
but instead of gold, they're using the global chocolate market as their underlying asset.
So instead of Fort Knox, we've got like a giant vault of chocolate bars.
Not quite. Remember, this is a virtual commodity currency.
Right.
It's all about perceived value and how the market responds. So Bittersweet's idea is that as more people use BTSWT, its value will increasingly track the chocolate market.
I see.
So think of it like this. If the demand for chocolate goes up, the demand for BTSWT should also rise.
So it's kind of like how the Australian dollar often moves with commodity prices, even though it's not directly pegged to one.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Okay. So Bittersweet's basically betting on the chocolate market to drive the value of their token.
Exactly. They're creating a digital representation of the chocolate market. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
They're not just focused on making money.
Oh.
They're also bringing in a social impact side to it.
Yeah, I noticed that all over their materials, they talk about community and making a difference and changing the world.
Right.
But let's be real. Those are buzzwords that get thrown around a lot in crypto,
Yeah, for sure.
sometimes without much substance.
Yeah, sometimes it's just marketing.
So is this just clever marketing or is there something more to it?
I think Bittersweet is actually backing it up with some concrete actions.
Okay, how so?
Well, they've established something called the Bittersweet Trust.
Okay.
And this trust receives a portion of the total token supply, plus a small percentage of every transaction.
Wait, so they're giving away a chunk of their potential profits.
Yeah, it's a different approach.
That's not something you see every day in crypto.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
And it doesn't stop there. They've also got this thing called pumping for charity,
Something for charity.
where they use a trading bot to stimulate early market activity.
Okay.
But then they donate all the proceeds.
Really?
Yeah, to cocoa farmers and organizations working in Africa.
Most trading bots I've heard of are designed to take money out of the market, not give it away.
Yeah, this one's different.
Yeah.
And throughout their materials, they really emphasize ethical sourcing and sustainability.
So they're saying we love chocolate, but we want to make sure it's produced in a good way.
Exactly. And they're not shying away from the problems in the industry.
That's pretty cool. So it's almost like they're acknowledging the problem and trying to be a part of the solution at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it.
That's interesting. So for anyone listening out there, I guess the question is this genuine or is it a clever marketing tactic?
It's a good question. Only time will tell if they deliver on their promises.
Well, I guess so.
Hey.
But at least they've laid out some clear ways to try and achieve those goals.
That's right.
Okay, so they've got this big vision and a unique social impact approach and a whole lot of chocolate.
Yeah.
But how does it all work?
Right.
Like, how does chocolate actually become money?
Well,
Let's get into the tokenomics.
okay.
From what I've seen, it looks like there's a fixed supply of 150 billion tokens.
Right.
And they say that mirrors the estimated value of the global chocolate market.
Yeah, that fixed supply is important.
Why is that?
Well, it helps with stability. You know, a lot of cryptocurrencies have an unlimited supply,
All right.
which can lead to inflation. Bittersweet seems to be aiming for stability and scarcity, kind of like Bitcoin,
Okay.
by capping the number of tokens.
Interesting. And they're really pushing this idea of community ownership, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks like they've made 90% of the tokens available to the public.
That's right. They're positioning themselves as a community-driven project. So most of the tokens are held by individuals.
Not big institutions.
Exactly.
Okay. And they've also got 5% reserved for potential listings on exchanges.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Getting listed on those big exchanges could really help them grow.
For sure. It would make it easier for people to buy and sell the token.
Right, which could lead to more adoption.
Exactly.
But it's crypto, so who knows what'll happen.
Yeah, there are no guarantees.
Speaking of the future, they've got this ambitious roadmap on their website.
Oh, yeah.
They're talking about aggressive growth in the next couple years, potential exchange listings, even hinting at developing their own blockchain down the line.
Their own blockchain.
They're not thinking small.
That's a huge undertaking.
It is. It's a pretty bold vision. But roadmaps are just that, right? They're not guarantees.
Yeah, that's important to remember. They're aspirations.
Right. But, even if they only achieve a fraction of what they're setting out to do, it's still a fascinating project.
Absolutely. It's a really unique concept.
Imagine buying your morning coffee with chocolate-backed tokens.
It's a fun thought.
It is.
Okay.
But before we get too carried away, we need to take a closer look at the foundation, transparency and trust.
Absolutely.
And that's what we'll be doing in the next part of our deep dive.
Looking forward to it.
So stay tuned, folks. This chocolate-coated adventure is just getting started. Welcome back to our deep dive on Bittersweet.
It's getting interesting.
It is. Last time we were talking about their vision and that whole blend of social impact and cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Now we want to get into how they actually plan to make this happen.
Okay.
How do they make chocolate into money?
Right.
Because it still feels kind of like magic to me.
Yeah, it is a complex concept.
Yeah, it is. So they keep saying they're creating a decentralized virtual commodity currency. What does that actually mean?
So essentially, they're creating a digital token,
Okay.
BTSWT,
Right.
whose value is linked to the global chocolate market.
Right.
But unlike regular currencies that are controlled by central banks,
Right.
this would be decentralized.
So kind of like Bitcoin.
Yeah, you could say that.
Decentralized and controlled by the community.
Right, but instead of relying on complex algorithms to determine its value,
Right.
it's tied to something tangible, chocolate.
So BTSWT is like a digital version of cocoa beans.
Yeah, it's a good way to think about it.
Okay, but I'm still not sure how that actually works. It's not like I can trade my BTSWT for a bar of chocolate at the store.
Right. It's not about direct convertibility.
Okay.
It's more about creating a connection
Between
the token and the asset.
Okay.
The idea is that as more people use BTSWT, the market will start to see it as representing the value of chocolate.
So it all comes down to perception and adoption. But what if the price of chocolate crashes?
That's a good question.
Wouldn't that hurt BTSWT?
It could. But Bittersweet argues that the work of the Bittersweet Trust can help.
Oh, right. The trust.
Yeah, remember, they're focused on improving the chocolate industry.
So they're not just letting the market do its thing. They're trying to make the market better.
Right.
Which would, in theory, benefit BTSWT holders.
Exactly.
It's ambitious.
It is. It's one of the things that makes Bittersweet unique.
And then there's this whole chocolate superhighway thing.
Oh, yeah.
What's that about?
Think of it as a way to describe the widespread use of BTSWT.
Okay.
They want to get listed on major exchanges.
Which would make it easier to trade.
Right. And they even talk about developing their own blockchain.
Their own blockchain.
That's a huge step.
It is. It shows they're thinking long term.
For sure.
It's like they're creating a whole new financial system.
With chocolate at the center.
Wow. But what if people just aren't interested?
That's always a risk with community-driven projects.
Yeah.
Bittersweet seems to get that, though.
Okay.
They're working hard to build a strong community.
Oh.
They're active on social media. They've got a great website.
And they've even got a song.
They do have a song.
You're kidding?
Nope. It's actually pretty catchy.
Well, that's one way to get attention.
It is. But they're also focused on transparency and building trust.
Which is crucial for something like this.
Absolutely.
Okay. But even if they get a lot of people on board, how do they convince them to actually use BTSWT?
That's the challenge for any cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
They need to show that it's useful in the real world.
So what's their plan?
Well, it seems like they're exploring different things.
Like what?
Developing easy-to-use apps.
Okay.
Partnering with businesses that will accept BTSWT, even looking at using it for remittances.
That would be huge.
It would. But we can't forget about regulation.
Oh, right, the government.
Governments are still figuring out how to handle crypto.
What if they decide to crack down on Bittersweet?
It's a possibility.
So there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, for sure.
Their success depends on a lot of things they can't control.
That's true. But there's something really interesting about their vision.
What's that?
They're trying to build something bigger than just another crypto token.
A movement.
Yeah, a community. A new way of thinking about money.
Plus, everyone loves chocolate.
That doesn't hurt.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about how they plan to make chocolate into money.
We have.
But there's one more important piece to this puzzle.
What's that?
Transparency and trust.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Especially in the world of crypto.
Absolutely.
So stick around for part 3, where we'll unpack that and wrap up our deep dive on Bittersweet. And we're back for the final part of our Bittersweet deep dive.
The chocolate saga continues.
It does. So we've talked about their vision, their social impact strategy, all the potential challenges.
Right.
But the thing that keeps coming back to me is this focus on transparency and trust.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Especially in the crypto world.
Absolutely. You're asking people to invest in something new and potentially risky.
Right.
So building trust is essential.
And it seems like Bittersweet gets that.
Yeah, they seem
too. Like their FAQ on their website.
Oh, yeah?
It's super detailed.
It is. They answer pretty much every question you could think of.
They're not shying away from anything.
Which is a good sign.
And then they went a step further.
Oh.
They shared the blockchain addresses of their key wallets.
Wow.
Including the one for the Bittersweet Trust.
That's not common.
It's not. Most projects are pretty secretive about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they are.
But Bittersweet's putting it all out there.
So anyone can track the movement of tokens.
Exactly.
See how the funds are being used.
It's like they're giving everyone a backstage pass.
Full transparency.
And they're not just highlighting the good stuff either.
What do you mean?
They have a whole section on risk disclosure.
Oh,
they're not hiding the potential downsides.
That's refreshing.
They're even encouraging potential investors to do their own research and talk to financial advisors.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly.
Smart advice.
It almost feels like they're trying to talk people out of investing.
Which is kind of weird, but also kind of admirable.
I know, right? It shows integrity.
Yeah, they're not just trying to make a quick buck.
It seems like they're in it for the long haul.
Building something sustainable.
Based on transparency and community.
And chocolate.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it's been a wild ride exploring Bittersweet.
It has. A lot to think about.
They're really trying to do something different.
Yeah, they are. Blending chocolate and crypto.
With a focus on transparency and community.
It's a unique approach.
So for everyone listening out there, I guess the question is...
What's that?
Could this be the future of money?
Or is it just hype?
We've given you the information.
All the ingredients.
Now it's up to you to decide.
Do your own research.
Explore the Bittersweet movement.
And see where this chocolate-coated journey leads.
That's it for our deep dive on Bittersweet.
Thanks for joining us.
Catch you next time for another deep dive into the world of ideas.